how he got his gig that got him into television. He got an audition for QVC for the midnight to 3 a.m. slot. And the audition was, you go into a room kind of like this, a producer sitting there, probably looked a lot like Jeff, and the producer rolled a pencil over and said, talk about that for 8 minutes.
All day.
Mike Rowe got hired on the spot. He also got fired 3 times from QVC and rehired. But that ultimately led him into some amazing opportunities and ultimately his gig on Dirty Jobs, which has he's been able to start a foundation.
Yeah.
And really what it's all about, what Mike Rowe's whole deal about Dirty Jobs was all about, the biggest takeaway is that his grandpa, who basically raised him because his dad, passed away early and what have you, but his grandpa was his role model, was a very handy person, and Mike Rowe is not. He did not realize that the handy gene skips a generation.
Definitely skip mine.
But he's got the gift, right? He can talk about a pencil for 8 minutes and get a gig on QVC at the midnight shift to 3 a.m.
I'm telling you, you hand me that pencil and talk about it for 8 minutes, I'm out, bro.
I'm out.
Yeah.
He's like, you can play pencil.
Because here's my thing: is everybody has a different sales style,
right?
Doc, the dude's got the gift of gab. We all know it, and it's legitimately from the heart.
Talking dog off a meat wagon.
Me, my sales tactics is, hey, this is what this does. This is the benefit and the value. Do you want it? Nah. Okay.
I don't like the color red.
Because here's the deal. In my mind, it's a flaw with my sales process because I think I need to get to yes or no the fastest. When in reality, like we were talking about, I'm losing out on opportunities. So I'm super pumped tonight. So if you go back and watch the last 2 weeks, we've talked about core values in your business. We've talked about the horizon of looking forward and getting a game plan that's going to excel your business and your team forward. Tonight, what we're going to focus on is overcoming objection in sales. No matter what industry you're in, no matter what business you're in, we're all salesmen or women. It's just, that's how it is.
That's what it is.
So at the end of the day, what we want to try to focus on tonight is we're going to try to make it through all 10 of these, but we're going to go through 10 objections that we all face as business owners, and we'll go through them in detail here. And not only the objection, but how to conquer that objection, right? So other than that, man, I'll let you guys kind of kick it off. Why don't you tell us real quick, a couple minutes about
the bombs on
10X,
the
man.
10X, dude. I'm pumped up and excited. Don't get too long-winded because I know you're excited about 10X. You can probably talk to us probably the whole damn hour about what you know, but hit us with some key highlights.
Okay, key highlights.
You didn't bring me a fucking hat back.
Didn't get my damn hat either, so.
But we still love them.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk offline about that.
And nobody made a goddamn request.
Hold on, let me pull up that iMessage real quick.
Pretty sure we did.
I don't read my messages. I'm too big. Anyway,
so
the thing is that this was I think I knew it was going to be a real special opportunity because this is the first event that has occurred in a year.
Yeah.
Right. The first event to occur in a year was the 10X Growth Conference. It is not all about Grant Cardone and his sales and professional development and achievement. It's about him and his wife and partner, Elena Cardone, and their vision to build an empire and to bring the viewers, the people who are interested in bettering themselves, their businesses, their employees, and getting to $1 billion company. And there was a billionaire in the audience. So it's 2,100 people. First live event in a year. 3 days of speakers, guest speakers, surprise speakers. The most amazing takeaway I have from it was, there was a women professional leaders, female entrepreneurs. A lady who invented a major pharmaceutical for women, by women, for women, sold it to a major pharmaceutical company simply so they could shelve it again because they didn't want to manufacture this drug for women. And she was like, I got my company back for free and they paid me $1 billion for it.
Wow.
Right. Got my company back for now. It cost her a lawsuit, right? Because the company didn't do what they said they were going to do about manufacturing the pharmaceutical. She got the company back. So it wasn't exactly for free, but she got a
Hell of a deal.
She got a hell of a deal on $1 billion company. Jesse Itzler, who's a motivational speaker in his own right, he founded Marquis Jets, which is now owned by Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway. Fantastic speaker. Was a rapper on MTV in the 90s. Like, if you Google the guy, he's worth a Google. But one of the biggest takeaways is he's an endurance runner, one of those 100-mile runners.
Fuck that.
100 miles in 24 hours.
What a waste of
So
time.
he hires a Navy SEAL to help him get through the barrier. And the takeaway from that was, I will not give my pain a voice. And for any of you who are overcoming some sort of injury, whether it's up here or physical, you broke a hand or a back in a motorcycle trip, or you got some old injuries from your BMX bike, you got some screws and pins, don't give your pain a voice. Just keep pushing through. And that's equally applicable in business. And there's a lot of amazing speakers, but I will say Pitbull and Alex Rodriguez were fantastic.
A-Rod was there?
A-Rod was there.
Oh,
and I'll tell you one thing about Pitbull, when you meet a Cuban American, a people who had all their property taken away, their family was murdered for being capitalists, right? For wanting better, like I got 4 cows and I made 8 cows with those 4 cows. Why can't I keep 1 cow? Oh, no. Those are our cows and we're going to kill you because you slaughtered one. I mean, it's happened to his family. But just a, when we're talking about rights being taken away and people being fearful of stuff, there's a reason why, man, because 62 miles from Miami in 1962, that happened. Like, dude, it was just the day before yesterday. It wasn't that long ago. Just the day before yesterday, 62 miles from America, people were deprived of their property. Give me that shirt. Give me that truck. Give me this. Give me that. The government needs that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's frightening.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why, people covet and treasure democracy, and we need to, and freedoms, because they are very quick they can be taken away just like that.
It's I love that you say don't give your pain a voice, because unless you've been pushed to the point where your body physically can't go, and that's where your mind steps in. Anybody that's done any training, triathlons, weightlifting, military, whatever, I guarantee you, and I tell my boy this all the time, your body can go so much further than your mind thinks it can. So if you're out there, I like what you're saying. Keep pushing through.
Yeah, keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Knock down the next door, jump over. If you can't get through the wall, go around and go through it, go under, whatever you got to do. And how you're going to do that is with your sales process and overcoming those objections.
Yeah.
That's a key tonight. So welcome back.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you didn't stay over there. I know your bikini line's needing some sun on it.
Need some love.
It'd be like Chewbacca, right? It'd be like Chewbacca. What's up?
Hey, mommy, what's that guy with the sweater on?
But it's okay,
Anyway.
man. I tell you what, Jeff, this is probably one of my favorite topics.
I know it is.
Sales, overcoming
Mhm.
objections, breaking down barriers, understanding the yeses,
Yeah.
getting past all of the gatekeeper, right? So
Yeah.
like you stated before, sales applies to every single business out there,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
From the person who's trying to upsell you at the drive-through. Hey, you want to go from a medium to a large for 22 cents?
Damn, I didn't
Right.
think about that, but every
Right?
time.
Every single time. Hey, do you want an apple pie with that? Right?
Yeah.
And if you're like, oh yeah, sure, no big deal. You know what I mean? Everything's an upsell. Everything is an upsell. If you can keep that in your brain, is anytime you're out there trying to, and I don't like to use the word sell anymore,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of cliche. It's kind of beaten down, right? So I'm here to provide value,
Yeah.
right? Today I'm knocking on your door to provide value,
Mhm.
because nobody in their right mind is going to tell you, I don't want any value,
Yeah.
right? You can't be told no.
Yeah.
So if you position yourself in a way that doesn't allow your client to tell you no, then you're fucking winning right off the bat, right? So our whole idea and concept in sales is to, how many times can I get them to say yes before I get them to sign this contract?
Yeah.
Hey, look, if you're taking notes, this is something to take a note on. And I forgot, here's a lawyer without a legal pad, but I love taking notes when we're doing our deal, because I do a lot of takeaways. And look, if you're struggling in sales, I have struggled in sales, and the three of us have worked real hard independently and sometimes collectively to push each other to be better in sales. Doc's hit on something critical, extremely critical. Words matter, right? Words matter. And if you're wondering, hi, I'm here to sell you something, or hi, I'm here to provide you some value, Mr. Skinner. Do you have a minute to talk to me about providing you some drug testing opportunities for your company?
Yeah.
So I see your roof got beat up with the storm last night. Let me do bing, bang, and boom, right? And then you pack into that moment the reason why they should allow you to talk to them 2 to 3 more minutes to provide that value, instead of bam, door gets slammed in your face or the phone gets clicked, right? Because that's exactly like, it's word choice. It's all about the word choice.
It really is. And where was I going with that?
Well,
So
we're talking about value.
You got
as
the
opposed to
value
sell.
base and selling. There's a difference between sailing and selling.
Yeah, it's
right?
cold on the water.
Don't get it twisted. So tonight we talk about that, right? We talk about those objections. We talk about how we phrase our word.
Yeah.
And everybody's heard the elevator pitch,
Mhm.
right? Know this: if you're in sales, you have 8 to 11 seconds to get your point across. Nobody gives a shit what your name is or what your company is. If you are going to knock on my door, you have 8 seconds to grab my attention. If not, you lost. Right?
Man, and some of us it's shorter than that.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you right now, if you knock on my door, you got about 2 seconds.
Right.
So it's dead on spot, because in today's world, everything is so scroll past, swipe right, swipe up. It's so quick. So
swipe you right off the porch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
you hit them like right there in the gut, and it sounds crazy, and it sounds like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can just go in and be barbaric about it. But you almost have to.
Yeah.
You almost have to get into sales and just be barbaric and say, look, I'm here. This is what your problem is, and I am your solution.
You said something last week that kind of hit my brain right now about how you're aggressive in your sales. That's almost verbatim what you said. But I think what the takeaway that I took is, we're not talking about Hulk smash aggressive, right? We're talking about finesse.
Yes.
Aggressively finesse your words, because they matter. Imagine the last time you said something to someone that you didn't mean to say and it hurt their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not all about feelings in this room, and everybody, I think we know that. But the point I'm making is the words are powerful. So choose them wisely. Know what you're gonna say. Like script. You talk about it all the time.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, there's a couple things, right? You got to have your attitude when Doc's talking about being aggressive.
Yeah.
One, he wants to go for the close, because closing is where you get paid, right? It's where you provide for it's where you make payroll.
Yeah.
And it's not about like I'm taking something from them. If you're on this broadcast, you're selling something ethical, right? Because you're like, it's 7:00 at night on Wind Down Wednesday at 90% of the bars in the United States of America. It's St. Patrick's Day, right? So you're here bettering yourself. You're here pulling yourself forward, maybe getting dropped a few drips of goodness. So when you're aggressive about sales, you're letting that passion, your push, right? You're not. I'm not talking about, hey, you need to close it. You need to sign this deal right now. You're never going to get a better deal. That's not what Doc is talking about. What he's talking about is bringing a positive, exuberant attitude. Like, you're going to go through. You have fueled up. You fueled your mind, your body, right? You've gotten your scripts right, or at least you've practiced your cold call, your warm call, whatever it is, your lead generation call. You have practiced that, and you've got enough fuel inside you, whether that's your workout, your breakfast, your this, that, and the other, so you can push through however long that sales call is. Sometimes it's a real short, period of time, but the goal is to compress it, right? To give them that value in a short enough period of time so that they're ready to, really start dealing with if there's objections, or are they just defense mechanisms? Are they real objections, or is this just, like somebody walks into
procrastination?
Somebody's at the mall. They walk into a store. Hey, I'm just looking, right?
Yeah.
You could just look at your phone out on the
Well,
out on the bench.
let's talk about this real quick. Did you know that almost 6 in every 10 buyers want to have a conversation about the money first?
Yeah.
Think about it real quick. Just take a moment if you're watching and listening to this, and every 6 to 10 buyers, every 6 out of 10 buyers want to talk money on the first time. I can tell you in my business, that's almost a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
They want to know, hey, I got this that needs to be done. When can you do it, and how much does it cost? So let's talk about the objection of it's too expensive.
Well, in my opinion, when you
What does that
think
mean to you in
something
your
is-
business?
it's too expensive, well, then you probably don't even need to be talking to me in the first place, right? Because your roof is expensive,
Protects
right?
your most valuable asset, doesn't it?
right? Covers you. You got your foundation and you got your roof. That's what's protecting what's inside your home. And so when somebody tells me, man, you're a little bit too expensive, I'm like, cool. How about I shave $1,000 off to save you some money. But here's what I'm not going to do, right?
Mhm.
I'm not going to remove the paper from your roof. I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
right? How expensive is it when you cut corners, right? And when you start to explain, and that's where I go back to value, right? That's how I'm overcome expensive.
Mhm.
Well, I understand that it's expensive, sir. And if it's a budgeting problem, I have other resources to be able to allocate towards you to be helped to reduce that out-of-pocket expenses.
So when you hear it's too expensive, you're combating that with the value that you're providing.
Well, and then I'm offering an additional way to give them money.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, I work with a great local bank here in your town that can offer you some financing.
Yeah, solve the problem. Solve the problem.
It's always about exactly. It's always about, oh, it's too expensive. Roger that. You ain't got no damn money. Guess what? I got a bank that does have some money.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's no longer too expensive. The problem wasn't the problem wasn't the product.
Yeah.
The problem was I can't afford the product.
Yeah.
So, but if I can help you afford the product, then would you be willing to go with me?
See, that's a perfect way to deal with what may just be, I'm just looking, the defense mechanism, right? Because, everything is too expensive. But I'll tell you another thing. That's bull.
It is.
That's absolute, like, dude.
When you break it down,
I remember
yeah.
when
Mhm.
cigarettes were still good for you,
right.
right?
Yeah.
No shit.
$2 a pack.
Right? Cigarettes were still good for you. That's a myth, right? Breakfast is a myth, right? Why do we have a most important meal? Blah blah blah. This is something that was in the growth conference, right?
Yeah.
They hired the cigarette ad company to save the breakfast industry because pork and egg sales were tanking. Right? And if you think Mad Men's a joke, if you've ever seen that show, it's not a joke, man. It's a myth. Coca-Cola is poison. But, it's the most consumed beverage in the United States of America, but it can get you fat, give you diabetes, ruin your kidneys. There ain't nothing in it good for your body.
That's
Why
right.
the hell did you bring it to us tonight?
Because I know you guys like soda.
Well, that's because Dr. Pepper is the best. But
But you know what I'm saying, though? The
I do,
idea
yeah.
is it's a myth. It's too expensive is a myth, right? Everything's a myth. That's a $5 coffee was a myth until Starbucks was like, you know what?
It's $7.
Dude, it's it's $7.
So let me ask you this. You're selling me something. I say, you know what? That's too expensive. You hit me with the pitch. What if I ask you to give the customer some time to object and listen to their concerns? What if I said that that's the way to overcome that objective? Because when you stop and you listen, and we're not talking about hearing, we're talking about truly listening to their
Active
concerns,
listening. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because then that's where you're going to be able to have the rebuttal with the value. So you have to understand that you've got to give that client, that prospect, I call them prospects and opportunities. You got to give that opportunity a chance to give their voice to you.
Absolutely.
Because if you're the one doing the most talking, what'd you say? First person to talk loses,
That's right.
right? You said it last week.
That's right.
So just remember this, because we're going to try to push through these. And if you guys want, hit us on an email at Patriot Business Alliance TX. I'll share our notes with you guys tonight at gmail.com. Sorry. But if it's too expensive, you first shut your freaking suck, you listen, and then you combat with the value.
Right.
That's-
And the problem solving, like Doc said. Well,
Yeah.
hey, look, I can put a little money back on your side by doing A, B, and C. And I work with a reputable bank. We'll call my buddy Kevin Fowler. We'll call, somebody at the independent bank.
I call it,
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I call it, what is that? title loan. You know what I'm talking about? I'll take your car title down to title loan. We'll get you buttoned
Hey,
up.
I'm telling you right now, certain businesses out there have the opportunity to provide financing. If you're in a business like myself or Doc, where things can be very expensive, I would highly recommend you look into a way to finance your business. And what happens is you're able to set yourself up to where that contract price is fully paid to you. And now that homeowner is now paying another third-party company. Does it cost you some loot? Absolutely. Do you get some jobs out of it? 100%. So that's something to look into.
Yeah,
But
third-party financing is a not every business, not every industry has that. That's a whole lot better deal than the credit card, because at the end of the day, that debt goes with that third-party finance company, and you, the vendor, are paid. You're not getting 100% on because the credit lender, but you're getting a big bit.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting a big bit, and of course, you want that third-party lender to have their bit, because you get paid in full for the job.
Yep.
You're willing to, if you're willing to shave off credit card fees, you're willing to shave off these third-party finance fees. What's the diff? You solve the customer's problem. And here's another thing. When you hear that it's too expensive, we all going to hear that, right? We all going to hear that, but it's too expensive. We all used to think $7 coffee was too expensive.
I still think it's too expensive.
And now, yeah, I know, Jeff, but we're going to get you there. We're going to get you there. But here's the deal, man. The world has bought into it. The world. It's not just America. You can find a Starbucks or a clone of Starbucks everywhere in the world. And you can find a McDonald's and this, that, and the other. People will pay whatever they charge. Whatever it is. If there was a Whataburger in Buenos Aires and the Texan was in Buenos Aires and that Whataburger was $20 because it was made from some beautiful Argentinian cow, a Texan would buy that damn Whataburger
all
for
day.
$20 all day.
A double.
A double.
A double.
A double. And anyway, the whole deal with that is when you hear it's too expensive, you got to know that that's not realistic. That's just talk, right? Solve the problem, get the value, solve the problem. But when you're hearing it's too expensive, you got to remember that that's not real.
That's not the real issue.
That's really not the real issue.
But you have to listen.
You do have to
find
listen.
what the issue is. So the objection is it's too expensive.
So when I hear it,
to that.
right? So you say, "Hey, man, this is too expensive." Great, and I always come back with, "Help me understand your budget." Then,
Exactly.
right?
You have to.
So you tell me, "Damn, Jeff, you're expensive." Well, help me understand your budget,
Mm-hmm.
and then you be quiet, because then you are now pulling data and information from your prospect. And that's how you close deals.
Yeah.
It's based off of information and solving the problem.
Yeah, right. Because when you're asking them about that, you're going to hear things that are critical.
Yep.
Like the last time they did something like that, you're going to be pulling from them what the true issue is. And
But
maybe
you got to listen. It's like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
You got to listen to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Everybody hears Jimi Hendrix, but if you listen to it, that man was a magician.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth, listen, and then go back to fix the problem.
Yeah.
That's the case and the point on that one. So I want to keep rolling. I think we're going to need more than an hour tonight because we're already at 7:30.
Is it already? We're only on the first one.
And we're only on number one. So we may break this into two parts, but I want to hit another one right here. All right, Doc, got a bad roof. Hey, Casey, you know what? I'm in trouble. I need some help. Or, hey, I got some things I need to do legally with you, but there's no time to deal with this right now. That's the objection.
Well, there's no time. Oh, so is the objection time or you don't want to?
I don't have time for you to help me right now. How do we fix it? Because we've all heard it.
Yeah.
Right. I need something fixed at my house or in my personal legal life, but I don't have the time.
Right.
Which is our what? Most valuable asset.
Yeah.
So procrastinating clients who don't have the time, how do we fix those? That's a big one.
Well, when I hear time, and I'm going to nerd out on Cardone training, Cardone University. I'm a big believer in it. It's made me a better salesman than I've ever been. And look, if you guys don't think you're in sales, when you wake up, guess what business you're in? Selling, right? You got to sell everything. You got to sell your friends on staying friends every day, right? By showing up, by taking care of their needs, having them show up, take care of your needs, your spouse, your kid, your mom, your dad, your employees, your employers.
The structured
right? It is, but we're all in. It's all persuasive speaking, and the reward that comes from persuasive speaking, right? Which is My friendships continue, whether that be with my children, my spouse, my brothers, doesn't matter. It's all persuasive speaking with the goal of getting a reward. That reward is the sell. Okay. And if you don't think you're in sales, but when I hear the time issue, I like people with time issues because that means they got money. That means they got money, because only busy people, like people who are like, no, man, I'll walk around in the furniture store all day, dude. Well, I'm not going to buy nothing. Yep. But hey, show me everything up in here.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
I
never correlated the two.
When we're talking about looky-loos, looky-loos who want to see every single like the people who are like, you got 30 seconds.
That's me. I'm like, get to the point or get out.
Yeah. Like if they're not shoppers, that's usually an indicator that you've got somebody who's got every one of, I've got a checklist of all the little, bing, 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 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and then double Q. That, like I go through this mental checklist of, do they have everything I need to make sure that I'm dealing with the person who can actually make the decision, who has the financial resources or can get access to them, and that they're going to be ready and committed at the end of the selling process, right? And if they are out of time, that is usually a signal that they have all of those things, right? Because they're busy. They know that time is their most valuable resource. Exactly what you said, right? Time is the only thing in this world we cannot get back, right? Which is why people are so like, hey, man, great job for volunteering at CASA. Great job for putting on the coat drive at Hemisphere. Thank Ruben too, man. Great job, Hemisphere. Because that time can't be gotten back, right?
Well, what are you going to tell me, though?
But people with time problems, they can make a decision. They can ink the deal. So you just say, hey, I
what
get
do you say
that.
to him, though?
We only, what do I say to him?
I can tell you what we say to him. And Doc's quoted this, and he tells it to his sales team all the time. You got to touch them 5 times a week, right? Yeah. So if you're hearing, I have no time for this, because we want to give our listeners and our viewers the problem, and then we want to give them the solution tonight. Yeah. If you hear the fact that, hey, I don't have time to deal with this right now, in case he's dead spot on, that means they're busy making moves, they're doing things. This guy right here, boy, I can't get him on the phone for nothing until I have to get on his ass and say, hey, we got to talk. That's because he's making moves and he's moving. What I have to do, though, and here's a solution, is continuously follow up.
Yeah, you got to get your FUs in.
You got to follow up, talk about it, because that's how you roll with your sales team.
So as soon as somebody comes in with that objection, hey, I'm sorry, I just don't have the time to do this right now, I respond back with, I understand you don't have the time because my time is valuable also.
Absolutely.
So what I've just done was create a common bond.
Yeah.
I get it, bro. I ain't got time to be pitching you on your damn roof that you already know is damaged anyways.
Yeah.
So cool. How about I just cut to the chase, let you know what you need to do. I'm going to hit you back in about 2 days when you have more time.
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and get this thing done. How's that sound? Because I got to go and you got to go.
Yeah.
Right. So you encourage them that we both agree that our time is valuable. We respect that person's information at all costs. And oftentimes, if we just repeat back what they told us, just in a slightly different, they're going to appreciate that.
It's funny you say that, man, because, when doing this research for this topic, that's exactly what this is saying. Continuous follow-up is key in order to catch the prospect at the right time. If today's not the right time, I'll call you in 2 days. And I like the fact that you said, not only that, I'm going to call you in 2 days, and then we're going to get this done. Right. I've changed my email strategy, something very simple. I used to be like, blah, fucking blah, 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 blah. If you got any questions, call me back. And I never put in my emails, let me know if you want to proceed with this project. Now I'll do the blah, blah, blah. And I'll put, let me know if I have your approval to proceed. And then a line down, call me with any questions.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait to get started.
Exactly. So I'm giving them basically an ultimatum. Win some, lose some, I get it, whatever. But you want to try to breed the common ground with you and that prospect. That's the key. I don't have time to deal with this right now. Wait, I don't have time either. So let's come to a common ground. Now they say, okay, this guy's straightforward. He's candid. I've already vetted him. I know he's good in the community. I see his face all over Facebook. I know I can trust this guy. So if you got the time, I like to call them excuses. If you got the time excuse, combat that with finding a common ground and follow up. That's the key.
Yeah. Well, that procrastination is one. I got to apologize because I got off on a, if we're in the middle of the sales, conversation, right? If I'm in the middle of that sales conversation and I hear the, hey man, I'm short on time, this, that, and the other, or am I stretching out? Am I stretching out the sales cycle because, hey, I just need to think about it. I need more time to think about it. If we're talking straight up procrastination, the follow-ups, those FUs you were calling, that is critical. And I've got, I want to share with all of you a simple thing that when you're doing these follow-up, like, so immediately after because we're all operating on the phone these days, and let's face it, you can make 10 times as much sales contact, and the difference between that and an in-office visit or an at-home visit, you might be tied up for an hour pitching a job, or somebody in your conference room talking to you about their case, and then you're talking to them about that job, right? But that's 1 hour. But what you can do on the phone, you can get that done in a lot quicker. And then you got some magic things on your phone, man. It's got a video camera. So here's an easy one, man. When you're talking about these follow-ups, I got a follow-up cycle that goes it's minimum what you were talking about, and sometimes it's even longer than that. But things you can do, man, get your camera out. Don't use it to do a selfie and post it on Insta about how cute your hair looks, man. Like, hey, my name's Casey Ashmore, Virtual Handshake. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be part of your team. Thanks for considering being part of our team. We were here 3 months ago. We'll be here 3 months from now. We were here 7 years ago. We'll be here 7 months from now. I just want you to know we're here and ready to serve you when you're ready. Thanks again for the opportunity to do business with you. Bam, send it, sent. Then you send the thank you for letting me talk to you about your problem email, right? Then you send the third part, like you got your sales team, the person who got the first, oh, shucks. Hey, Doc, I got to think about it. Oh, shucks. I love that guy, Aaron. But gosh, he could talk a dog off a meat wagon. Aaron sends the thank you for talking to me for an hour at your house. These are the things I identified. Then you have Aaron do a selfie video, right? Hey, my name's Aaron Withrow. I work for Doc's Residential Roofing. We met on da-da-da-da-da. Here's some photographs I'm going to send in this next text message of the things that I noticed that were damaged from the hailstorm last night. Bing, boom, bang, right? You just keep
Dale Childress.
Dale Childress?
Yeah. He taught us the same thing about the video.
Yeah.
Which is huge. And that's part of our follow-up game.
Yeah.
Right? And it is the 5 touches. And what he's saying is get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because it's uncomfortable as hell. But here's another reason why he does that. And most salespeople need to incorporate that. Because now when I send that person a text message, what are they going to see?
Your ugly mug every
My
time.
freaking ugly mug telling them thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? So when you have the excuse as I don't have the time, agree with them.
Find
Right?
a common ground.
I agree. I don't have the time either. We already know why I'm here. Thank you for your time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's valuable. So where's what we're going to do? Boom. Shut up and listen.
Yeah, again, that's the second. We've covered 2 points tonight, and both of them have ended with listen.
You have to.
So if you're finding the common ground here, ladies and gentlemen who are watching this, that's twice we've made that a big point. So let me throw another obstacle at you guys. And again, we're talking the front end of the sales conversation.
Yeah.
Came out, did the walkthrough, gave the proposal. You know what? I need to talk to my fill in the blank, boss, wife, manager, whatever. I need to talk to somebody else. You made a great point. Find the person that makes a decision.
Oh, I do that right off the bat.
Right? Here's the key to, I need to talk to my boss, my wife, my whoever it may be. When you hear that, you need to be asking yourself, am I talking to the main stakeholder? Am I talking to the man with the pocketbook or woman with the pocketbook? Customers who insist on taking their time to speak to somebody else, we get it. We're all married and kids and the whole deal. Structured chaos is what we call it. We're talking about understanding now who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
So when somebody tells me that, usually I don't even allow them to even get to that excuse because I already know that objection's coming. I head that off at the path.
Okay.
I say, by the way, Mr. Homeowner, is there anybody else that needs to be included in this conversation?
Okay.
That's exactly
right off the bat.
Exactly.
Is there anybody else that I need to be talking to during this conversation? And once you eliminate that objection off the bat, because I already know you got a wife. I already know that you're going to tell me that. And so as soon as they're like, oh crap, they're like, yeah, my wife. Great. When's a great time for you and your wife to sit down so that we can make this happen?
So here's the other thing. So we're going to identify the decision makers.
Yep.
I think a second follow-up with that is if said decision maker's not there, set a meeting up right then and there with the decision makers.
That's right.
Don't procrastinate on our end as a sales side. Find out who the stakeholders are. Find out who makes the decisions. And if that person's not there, this is how we combat. Our problem is I need to talk to. Our solution is going to be find the stakeholders, find the decision makers, and if they're not there currently, set that meeting there.
And if you've got them on a cell phone, which 99% of them, I mean, I think even my mom gave up her rotary phone, you know. Anyhow, they're on a cell phone. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, Mrs. Homeowner, let's just do this right now. Can you open up your calendar? Okay, great. What time will you and your husband be at home? Oh, 6 o'clock tonight. Perfect for me. I got nothing going on at 6 o'clock, and I'll set aside, a good hour. Do you want that on Zoom? You want to do a Zoom call? I'll send you a Zoom link right now. Okay, bang, bang. Okay, this is your cell phone number. I'm going to text you a Zoom link. I'll see you guys at 7 o'clock. It'll be great. And if that doesn't work, right, if they don't want to do a Zoom, just make sure you got it set. Have them open up their calendar's clear, and confirm you guys can both be there at 7 o'clock. No reason to not be there, right? You're not going to have like kids hockey practice, kids wrestling, right? Just confirm that, and that way you have the two. And there's nothing wrong with a buyer wanting to have that comfort. Usually they are a decision maker, right? They want that extra comfort because they're part of a team, and you want that team to be all in because you're going to be part of that team. You're going to be providing that team some valuable goods and services, whether that's a tangible thing like, Jeff provides tangible things, and so does Doc, but in a lot of respects, what they provide is service thing. It's the labor, it's the quality.
That's the number one.
Right. So, there's two big concepts going on, and they're wanting to make sure they're not making a misstep. And another thing you got to get in your head is that if you're getting this, I've got to talk to that. If you're getting that objection or that defense mechanism, wife, boss, etc., team member, partner in business, that's saying a lot more about their mindset than your mindset, right? Because
how's that?
Well, because maybe they don't trust themselves.
Maybe they don't trust you.
Right. Well, no, I think the issue is, maybe they made a bad decision previously.
Well, we're early on in the sales process.
Yeah.
So the trust is still being established.
Exactly. Right.
But in order to establish trust, let's say for us 4 years ago when we started all this madness, we knew we were friends. Our trust now is way more than it was when we first started. Absolutely. You have to build that trust with them. So find the decision maker, set the appointment, and you're going to have those folks that are like, yeah, not right now. Okay, here's the takeaway for that. Let's say they don't set an appointment with you right then and there. Now you know for a fact you need to follow up with them with two other people, right? I'm saying that person and the other person, right? But make sure that you find out who the decision makers are. That I need to talk to is the objection, the finding the decision maker, and then setting a meeting with all of the team right then and there.
Immediately.
And
oftentimes I give them two options.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm available Monday at 1 o'clock or Monday at 3 o'clock. Which time works best for you? And a lot of these things are sales 101 that we're hitting right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So know this, like the stuff that we're discussing tonight is at that beginning stages of getting into this sales diagram and getting into the sales role, and understand that sales takes time, consistency, and you're going to fumble. You're going to trip up on your words. You're going to look like you don't know what you're doing. I personally have been in the sales game since I was 12 years old, right? So when Jeff says, man, I'm just like Michael can just rattle shit off, it wasn't because I just was born like that. It was because I did this. I bled it. I breathed it. Yeah. So if you're in sales, you better love it, live it, and breathe that shit on a daily basis.
Yeah, because
like you better be selling to the cashier on trying to get them to give you a quarter because you don't want to break $1.
Let me give you a
quick
story.
Let
me give you a quick story right here. I just moved back home 6 years or so ago. Doc and I get the families together. We go to Bolarama over in Rowlett. I'm like, hey, man, it's going to be fun. Haven't hung out with my boy in forever, whatever. This cat walks up to he got us free bowling. I don't know how he did it. He sold the bowling guy to give us free bowling. And I'm looking at this guy going, what is he doing right here? We had a blast. At that moment, that's when I knew this guy has been in the sales game because it wasn't derogatory. It wasn't mean. It wasn't rude. It wasn't aggressive. It was finesse.
Yeah.
It was
fun,
finesse.
Loving, having fun. And I'm telling you, if you're in sales, make your client laugh.
Absolutely.
If you can break anything and you can bring humor to it and you can just drop them and give them the comfort and now you're laughing. I mean, I'd love to take anybody out any day of the week.
Well, this guy said it, break down the barrier.
And just run with me. I had the lady at Sonic give me a free breakfast burrito.
I'm telling you, man.
Like, it's ridiculous because if you don't ask, you can't get told no.
So the moral of the story is, you want a free Sonic breakfast burrito or a free bowling match? Call your boy Doc because he'll get it for you. But the bottom line to it is we want to make sure that you're finding the right people to talk to.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, to get the contract sold, to get it in your pipeline, you must be dealing with the right people.
That's right.
So let's kick this one because we've all heard this one. I had a bad experience with a similar product or service.
No.
We've all personally been there.
Yeah.
We've all used contractors we weren't happy with. We've all bought things that we thought was, I'll give you an example. I bought that stupid ass Peloton bicycle. I've rode that son of a bitch twice. You know how they got me? They got me on that damn commercial. I'm damn serious. My wife just wrote it before I got up here. But let's talk about having a bad experience from your client's point of view. I'm going to give you a pitch right here. Right. Go to a client's house. I don't care about the business. We won't name the businesses. I meet with the main shareholder, the main stakeholder. And I knew that this project was somewhere I needed to talk to the man making the decisions. I didn't want to talk to number 2, number 3. Yeah. We're talking a big project budget. Right. Go to this guy's house. He hates everything about the Control4 system. He doesn't want it. Finally build a trust with him. Ended up going ahead, running through that whole scenario of I had a bad experience. I listened first. I let him do all the talking possible. And then I told him what I do differently from my business because a lot of my business competition, we do the same thing. Let's just call it for what it is. But they're not me. They don't do it the Black Level AV way.
Right.
We ended up winning one of our biggest contracts by simply spending an hour with that main decision maker and understanding why he had a bad experience and then listening to tell him, okay, now this is what we do differently. Got a big job out of it.
That's huge.
So let's talk about that bad experience because it's huge and we all hear it.
Oh, in our industry, in the roofing industry, I'm telling you what, homeowners hate roofers. Okay, you like just take for instance this morning.
Not this roofer.
This morning. This morning, I think our city was hit with like BB size hail, and I guarantee you. 500 roofing trucks blasted through Rockwall saying your roof is toast.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. I had people call me, Mike, these motherfuckers out here blowing me up. I said, look, you're fine. You're in good shape. Like, don't worry about it. Tell them no.
Yeah.
I said, I did your roof 2 years ago. You're fine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So bad experience. People get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
They use car salesmen, right? So here's what I do to combat that objection.
Okay.
I hate to hear that you had a bad experience. Allow me to give you a couple of references for you to call for other jobs that I've done in the past to help ease your mind. Here are some photos that I've done from previous work that I've used. Check out my Better Business, Better Business Bureau. Go to their website and check me out. Give them all of the ammo. Put your whole entire business out there. Because I promise you, they already Googled your ass.
Oh, yeah.
They've already researched you.
Yeah.
You know?
Statistics show that.
And just like Jeff stated, the reason he won that client was because he took the time to listen to the person's problem. At the end of the day, Jeff probably didn't give a shit about his bad experience. But what he did was begin with the end in mind. Mm-hmm. He said, man, I want this client. I want to change his mindset about the audio video industry. I don't want my industry to be tainted because this guy had a bad experience.
Right.
So he chose to take a moment and listen, gain clarity, and then give him a solution to why the experience will not be the same.
I think the golden nugget in there was begin with the end in mind.
That's right.
And I just wrote that down because if you think about that, when a client has a bad experience, what's your goal? Hey, tell me a little bit about that, right? And then you shut your suck again and listen again. So there's a consistent word here, guys and girls. If you're listening to this, listening to your clients is what the sales process is about. We're just giving you some scenarios to roll with it. But I love that. If you begin with the end in mind, now you can process that in your head.
Yeah.
Jeff, one, thank you for this really comprehensive and badass content tonight. This is extremely helpful. And it's so on point. And I want to touch on a few things that Doc said,
man.
Right? Beginning with the end in mind. Look, when a customer is talking to you, especially if you've already had a couple of warm-ups, like you've set an appointment, you made sure the decision makers are there, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
They've Googled you, like Jeff said, right? They know who you are. They might have already checked your BBB. They might have checked your reviews. They might have vetted you against some of your former customers. And the bottom line is, man, they're already at the 50, if not further, right? They're already at the 50.
Yeah.
You got to get them down to the goal line, right? And if they've had a bad experience, that tells you something really critical, that they've made this investment before.
Yeah.
And that means they're a player. And what you've got to do,
That's a great point.
right? What you've got to do is make sure, in your business, I hear it in my business. I hired a big firm in the city. They took a pile of cash, didn't do jack. Trials in 2 weeks. What can you do?
Yeah.
I can get you a win. That's what I can do, right? I mean, I did, that is exactly the solution, right? The begin with the end in mind, right? What do you want out of this? I want to win my lawsuit. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You're not going to hire me until 14 days before trial. I'm going to ghost and make sure that there aren't any little hickaboos. And then I'm just going to come in and we're going to call an audible on the 1 yard line. And then bam, we're going to punch it across the goal line, right? Give them a completely different result, right?
Yeah.
It ain't bragging if it's true. And it's true, right? It's true. You give them something. They opened up their wallet, as Doc likes to say, they unasked a bunch of dollars. Here's a stack of cash to some law firm in a different community, and nothing really happened, right? They didn't get close to trial. They were completely dissatisfied. They felt taken advantage of. All these things to overcome. Man, these are problems you want, right? These are problems you want because these people are buyers. They've had a bad experience. They're buyers. They're qualified. They're decision makers, and you can make a difference in their life, and you'll have a loyal customer for life when you wow them, right? Like, damn, man, he was like, like Aikman on the one. Just, oh no, we're not going to run it in with Emmett. We're going to call an audible, and we're going to hit 88 in the corner. Boom, right? That's the kind of solution, right? So you got to ask them absolutely what they want is different, and how to structure it in a way that'll get them the result they didn't get from the first vendor, the first lawyer, the first whatever, lawn service, any service, right? And that's so critical, so critical.
I want to hit on something that you said right there, because when you turn a client from the oh shit factor, like, oh shit, this guy's coming to talk to me about spending more money, to the wow factor, you nailed it, because now you literally have a client for life. And all you have to do is, like we've talked about for 2 years now with all of these lives, is cultivate and just nurture that relationship, right? This guy has a program right now out, Doc's Dollars, and I love it. Ask for 5 referrals from a client. Imagine doing the math on 5 referrals from 10 happy clients. That's 50 people. You want to touch 100 people a week is what you've told me, right?
That's right.
You're halfway there with 5 clients.
That's right.
If you do it right. So when we're in this position of I've had a bad experience with it, I think Doc summed it up. If you begin with the end in mind, you step back and you listen, because you have to ask them what the problem was. Tell me why you weren't happy.
Yep.
And then stand back.
Yeah.
And listen, because that's where the true, from the gut, from the heart, if they trust you, they're going to tell you A, B, C, and D. And then that's when you can step in and completely change their mindset about not only the transaction that they're going to have with you, but like you said, I care about my industry.
Yeah.
I care about my AV industry. And these jokers out here running around, these chucking the trucks and all this stuff that are doing all this shady business that I fix on a constant, they're damaging the reputation in my industry.
Yes.
If you take care of your clients and you fix the problem that they have, you're not only fixing those hearts and minds, but you're fixing your industry too. So if you're in a sales role, keep in mind that you have a global impact. It's not just that one sale. Once that sale takes place, who does the work? Most salespeople don't do hard labor work, you know?
No.
Me, I'm the sales guy and a technician and a tactician and the whole deal. I'll get to that point. But what I'm getting at is, remember, you're holding the keys to success for your industry. That's right. And for your company and your team. So I love this topic, man.
Yeah. What is your image?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your image. It's your brand.
Your brand.
It's your core values.
Yeah.
All of those are at stake. And Casey said something, and I was like, that I think some people need to be cognizant of.
Mm-hmm.
Because you immediately said, I'm going to get you the win. And sometimes in sales, we almost want to say whatever the client wants to hear in order to get the contract signed.
That's the first thing.
So be very, very careful when you overpromise and underdeliver.
Oh,
because that's what happens. That's why most people have a bad experience. Because he's like, man, you told me this shit would be done in 3 days, and we're on day number 6.
Yeah.
Right? Because you overpromised so you can get your sell. So whatever you're selling to somebody, or whatever value you're trying to provide to somebody, just don't shoot yourself in the foot and say, I got you. I'll do whatever it takes to get whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to. Because once it starts hitting your pocketbook, you're going to pull back the reins, and that client really is not going to be much more to you.
Here's something you can do, and this is what I do, and I did it twice this week on walkthroughs already. The system I went and looked at, I've been doing it long enough to where I can kind of put the puzzle pieces together to a point in my head, but I will never, ever tell a client or be afraid to tell a client, hey, you know what? I'm going to build this system like I know it works, and then I'm going to give it to you, and as soon as you sign on this proposal, I'm going to include about 4 hours worth of time to come validate my scope of work. I'm going to come validate my design. So I'm not giving you a change order because I overlooked something. And you know what? It's not going to cost you anything.
Right.
That's a cost of my doing business. So at the end of the day, I'm not giving you a change order. Everything is exactly the way it was supposed to be before we switch any dollars in any hands.
That's right.
So be upfront and honest with them. And I guarantee it's going to take you a long way.
You'll win all day, all day long. So what other objections we got? What time is it anyways? 5 more minutes. Shoot. Like I tell you what, we get passionate about sales because that is the will that makes your business grow. If you ain't selling, you're losing. Mm-hmm. If you're not out there branding and building relationships, just like Jeff said, I try and touch 100 people a day. I try to sell to somebody every single chance I get. I was at Home Depot. I swear to God, I was at Home Depot. Her name was Cynthia, right? And she looked down in the dumps. I said, Cynthia, what's up, girl? Why you look so sad behind your mask? You know what I mean? And she's like, how can you see it? I was like, you just look run down. I said, what can I do to help you today? I said, you want me to scan my stuff for you? Because I will. You know what I mean? And I always hit people with this shit. I'm like, yo, what about that BOGO sale? And their brain is like, whoa, what is a BOGO sale? It's a buy one, get one. Okay. Payless Shoe Store put that out there.
That's some old school shit.
That is old school. But people don't get it. Right. And then I'm like, and then at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? Thank you. They smile. They have a great time. And I say, hey, here's my business card. If you ever need a roofer that you can trust, give me a call.
They'll paycheck to the heart, brother.
Every time. And because every person that you speak to is an opportunity. Yeah. It may not be now. It may not be tomorrow, but I promise you, if you leave a lasting impression on every person you meet, they will probably be converted into a client at some point in time.
I think my wife and kid think I'm nuts because I just talk to anybody.
Anybody. You have to.
They're like, make conversation with anybody. And I'm the same with you. If I see somebody that's looking down, I did it today too. Yeah. Hey, man, why you look so bummed out? Yeah. And immediately they smile. Yeah. Because maybe they're not having a bad day, but they just needed to hear something other than somebody's bitching at them about their job.
And that's
So-
all it is. If you can make
Yeah.
somebody,
Mhm.
because I was watching Training Day. You guys know Training Day?
Oh yeah.
Denzel Washington, Ethan
Yeah.
Hawke. I'm telling you what, it's a great damn movie. I don't know why we watched it, but we did. But he made something there's only two things that nobody can take away from you. That's your tears and that's your happiness.
That's pretty heavy.
Okay? That's your tears and that's your happiness. Now, if you don't have control over those two things, you're losing in life.
Yeah.
Do not let people take your tears nor your happiness away from you. Go out and kill it every damn day
Yeah.
and be true to yourself.
Always.
And
You
that's
have
what
to.
it's about,
Yeah.
folks.
Y'all want to keep going or you want to wrap one up? I mean, we got to.
I think
So I'm gonna shoot a round that I was saving. Under deliver, man. You cannot under deliver.
yeah, let's talk about that.
And
for a minute, 'cause that's-
just you brought that up, Doc. That's so critical. And there are always going to be some shit that goes wrong, right? Ice storm starts on February 11th. You're sheltering in place like Noah's Ark, keeping the neighborhood warm, or you're at somebody's house trying to stay warm till February 22nd, right? I mean, that was a week where Texas had a groundhog, man. Texas set a record in things that suck, and it disrupted a lot of business. You still can't under-deliver, right? You still got to over-deliver. You got to find a way, whether that's, you pack in some 4 hours. That's a great way to pack in some over-delivery. But always, always, always over-deliver, no matter what it takes, even if it's at somewhat of a loss to you, to give that client that win, that begin with the end. I'm not talking about a guaranteed win. I'm talking about you're going to get them the result that they want, right?
Yeah.
That they desire. It's maybe not everything's going to be
I
perfect.
think there's a good way to do it. You are going to provide the best solution in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we cannot control the things that we can't control. That's just what the nature of the beast is. That's why Mother Nature is Mother Nature. Right? So if we try to control it all, we're going to lose. So just remember, when you're in the sales game, only control what you can control.
Here's the other thing too that I was just thinking of while you were talking is never be afraid. I'm the youngest business owner in this room, and I'm probably one of the youngest business owners in our alliance here. But I've learned a lot in a short period of time, and I think one of the most important things that I've learned in the sales process, since that's kind of what we're gearing towards tonight, is don't be afraid to spend a little money to make a lot more money.
That's right.
And when I say that, I'm talking about, okay, let's say I missed a $200 piece of equipment on a project. It's a $20,000 project. You really think it makes sense to go back to that client and say, you know what? I got to charge you an extra $265 with tax. Shit, no. Eat that up. Keep moving forward. Press forward, because that is, number one, probably your mistake.
Yeah.
Right? So own up to that shit. And number two, that could potentially damage that entire relationship.
Yeah.
For $200. And that's just a number I'm giving. But don't be afraid in the sales role to eat some of your commission if your team needs something that will make the client and the team look good, the client happy. The wow factor is what we're shooting for.
Because what are we really after? 5 referrals.
Exactly.
We're really after 5 referrals.
Yeah.
So if I have to spend $200 to satisfy my client's needs and he's 100% satisfied, and I say, hey, John, what do you think? He's like, damn, Mike, that was the best damn thing I've ever seen in my life. Cool. You don't mind telling the public that, do you? But let me see your phone. Google, boom. Why don't you go ahead and write that review? You know what? Better yet, how about let me video you telling me this?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? While we're at it, you got 5 people in your phone book real quick. Let me call them and see if they want the same thing. Hey, how's that sound, John?
Yeah.
That make you feel good? And I said, on top of that, I'll even give you a referral fee for helping me out, John, right? So whatever you can do to continuously add value and separate yourself from your industry and all of your competitors is what you have to do. And Jeff hit the nail on the head. If you give somebody a contract and you said it's $20,000, by God, it better be $20,000 when the job is done, regardless.
Well, if it's your fault, 110%.
Sure.
Now,
I'm not telling you to
good
give away the farm.
No. But a good change order, in my opinion, is a change order where the client says, I'll be damned, this guy's over impressed me. He's, you know what? I was holding off on that section of my project, but you know what? While you're here, can you do that while you're here? Because you look like you're running and gunning. You know what? Absolutely. Let me get you a change order tonight. That's a good change order.
Yes.
That's a
change
order
orders that the customer wants.
Absolutely.
Is definitely good.
You know what we love about change orders? Because that's second money.
It's
And that leads to third money.
It's a
Because
trifecta.
what happens is there's a comfort building with giving you money in exchange for your over delivery of your service and product. And then, the reason why there's all this hesitation in this sales process is because they don't know you, they don't trust you, right? But once they start knowing and trusting, you start overcoming if it is that bad experience. Man, I met that bad lawyer in Houston, Texas. Man, he did me wrong.
Better call Saul.
I should have hired Saul. He's like, if that guy officed in a fish tank in a nail salon, and he drove this janky old Cadillac.
Dude's out in Docks, Winnebago.
Story of my life. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, the thing is that once they get comfortable with you, then you start getting that second sale, that third sale, that fourth sale. Then you got a customer who's coming back to you for everything. It's like, hey man, can you fix my kid's house? Can you do this? Can you fix my can you fix this? I've got this other lawsuit. I've got this. I need my lawn. I need my kid's lawn. I need my building done. Right? You start boom, 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 boom.
You start building an alliance. There's not one job that I don't go to that's a remodel or a new construction build that I ask every time. Hey, you got a roofer? Hey, you got an electrician? Hey, you got a plumber? Well, actually, no, I'm actually looking for him, whatever. And I got it already plugged in my phone. And I know, I just text it to him right there. So now you're building an alliance. You're building the trust with the client. You're building trust with your trade partners that you work with. That alliance is why we're here on a weekly basis every Wednesday talking to you guys about what we think we know, what we've done our research on, and what we've asked other people that are better than us.
That's right.
Build that alliance with your clients, with your team, with the people that surround you. And let's be honest, it all starts with the sales process.
Every time, the introduction. It actually starts with that 8-second ride.
It does.
It's an 8-second ride. And if you can hold on past 8 seconds and you get that foot in the door, I've gone so far where they were shutting the door that my foot accidentally hit their door jamb. They're like, oh, I'm like, oh, my foot. Oh, my gosh. And they're like, are you all right? I said, I don't know. Can I come in and sit down?
Shut the fuck
I swear to God. I come in and sit down. I'm like, hey, so by the way, I get it. You need me gone. But now that I'm in here, let's go ahead and get down to the brass tacks of some shit.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, I'm in their home. And what happens when you're in somebody's home? You look around at the family photos. You look around at something hanging on the wall. Like, oh, shit. Is that Notre Dame? I love Notre Dame. I'm freaking Irish. Oh, you ever go to Notre Dame? I said, no, I just like leprechauns.
Yeah.
Right? He laughs, I laugh, we all laugh. Next thing you know, we're best friends. And we're doing the damn job. Because no doesn't mean no. It means not right now.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We could sit here and talk for another hour. But if I do that, I probably end up living up here because my old lady's already called me. Babe, I'm coming home. I promise you. So,
Man.
Hey, Instagram, thanks for being with us tonight.
Yeah.
We didn't give you a lot of love over there.
Yeah.
Forgive us. It's just the way the camera setup is. Thanks.
we'll get you better.
Hey, so let's just close this out. I think we've saved all of our rounds. We fired them all off. The Patriot Business Alliance every Wednesday, 6. Actually, we're going to change it to 7 because it kind of works a little bit better for everyone's schedule. We're not rushing and gunning. But here's the deal. Patriot Business Alliance, tx@gmail.com. If you want tonight's content, we're happy to share it with you guys. We'd like to invite you guys. If you're watching this, we can do this remotely. So if you're someone that's not in the Rockwall County area where we are, but you want to be on our show with Casey and Doc and I, let us know. Hit us on the email. Shoot us a Facebook message or whatever. We're going to be here every week. We got big plans. We have huge aspirations to make a significant impact in the North Texas area. And we're looking for people who want to join. The train's moving, full steam ahead. Got 2 of the best friends in the world right here to help it out. And I want to say thank you guys. Welcome back from the 10X.
Thanks, brother.
Y'all have a good night. Hey, go kill it on $10,000 Thursday.
$10,000 Thursday!